Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Did You Hear Me? I'm brought in by a controversial voice on the intro. I will get to that in just a second, but I'm joined here with PackMan.
That's it, go Pack go.
He's decked out. Today is the day, the playoff day. Get to that here soon.
That's it. I guess by the time they hear this, it'll probably be
it'll be
over.
done.
Yep.
So
we'll be moving on.
That's right. The sheriff is here.
Yes, sir.
And we're joined. Excited to have one of my oldest friends here, Nathaniel Blue.
Good to be here.
Yeah, that's right. It is good to be here. Going back to the intro music, the King, who I gave credit to last episode and said we appreciated his voice being on the intro. Apparently he wanted a royalty fee or something. I don't know. He kind of went sideways about it. Or was it more that or us taking his partner and having him on?
All of the above.
We doubled and tripled down.
Yeah, we did. He was less than pleased.
We chopped him down.
Well, I hope you read the fine print of the contract he signed, because I own all of his voice that was recorded. So
that's it. It's a one-party consent statement, right?
That's it. We had the legal team look it over.
That's it. CNN, thank you.
So he's about to make me take back my thank you for lending us his voice. But I'm gonna leave it there. Thanks again, King, for making our intro one of the best ever.
We haven't given up on him yet, have we?
We haven't, and you know I told him we got 50 more episodes after this week. 50 more episodes this year. You know what? Play your cards right. You're gonna lose your spot.
This is gonna be
your
tough.
return.
This is gonna be a tough one to follow, though, with one of the greatest Leos.
That's right. So PackMan is decked out today, as we mentioned. We did this so that he can go fully enjoy the playoff game between the Packers and the Cowboys later today.
Yeah, that's an early record time, but we had to get it in before the game started. I was gonna wear the cheese head, but the headphones are preventing that. So I got the cheese head, got the ball cap, the shirt, the Packers socks.
Whoa!
G'd up from the feet up, baby. Let's do it. Go Pack, go.
A couple of weeks ago, we had to check his pulse. The energy is higher now
That's
than
it.
when he was under the weather.
And he feels like the Packers' future is so bright, he's got to wear shades.
That's it, man.
I'm
That's
with him.
it. Or hide my tears later. I mean, in theory, Cowboys should win, but they're known for choking in these playoffs.
That's all right.
That's why we play the games.
That's it. Yep.
Harking back to the sheriff's words.
That's it.
Not on paper.
Settling it on the field. No figure skating college football committee style.
That's right. And Nathaniel Blue is from Oklahoma. Did you make your way ever to being a Cowboys fan?
No.
Growing up?
I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I always did. Most people in Oklahoma are Dallas Cowboys fans. I went the opposite way. I was a big fan of the 49ers growing up, so I absolutely...
That's the Steve Young years?
Yes, all those years. I absolutely despise the Dallas Cowboys. I hate them more than I hate about any other professional franchise.
America's team, they doggy.
I hate everything about them. I hate the star. I hate everything.
My man,
about
keep it going.
Unfortunately, I think they're probably going to win today.
Oh, man.
Oh, this man. Hey, look, if the Packers do win,
I'll be very happy.
they'll play the Niners next week.
Yeah,
so,
I would be very happy about that.
Yeah. Although that seems to be the Pack's kryptonite in the playoffs. I can't even count how many times they've lost to the Niners in the past 10 years in the playoffs.
That will be in Santa Clara as well.
That's it.
Yeah, well,
According to the stat guy.
before these things get any warmer, let me introduce the drink of the week and then I'll get back to this conversation.
It ain't gonna matter.
So again, we're still in this dry month leading up to
You didn't get that meme either, did you?
Yeah, I saw it.
There was some memes from the movie Flight.
Yeah.
Throwing a little shade at my co-host
We're
here.
holding strong though, or at least I am.
Yeah, I'm so proud of y'all.
I am.
So sober month, we got another drink. This one also recommended from the younger generation. Last week was Prime, so I went with the direct competition. I don't know. I think it's competition.
It's gotta be.
Same flavor, so we're gonna sample Body Armor Lemon Lime
Sorry, it looks good.
Compared to last week's way too sweet Primes. Let's go ahead and crack them open.
Crack
Let's
them
do it.
open. This is.
No, we're supposed to shake these. I don't know.
Probably should have. Oh, veteran move over there.
That's like a watered down Prime.
It's pretty good though.
Does Little Blue like these things? Does he like Prime?
My kid is obsessed with Prime. He has to get every different bottle. And it's really a social media thing. He sees Logan Paul and KSI. They're really popular on YouTube, so it's the drink the kids love.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. They all just rage over it. But
Well, the Body Armor, I'll give it a higher grade than the Prime.
think so.
The Prime's too sweet for me.
This is a 0 sugar too, so
Hey, didn't even realize. Trying to keep that waistline down.
That's
there
it.
you go. I'm gonna have to quit this podcast. We keep this up.
Hey, we got one more sober episode.
Next week, last one. Last
That's
one
it.
of the first round.
What's that gonna be? Sunny D?
I don't know, actually.
Millie likes milk. I was like, Millie, what should the drink of the week be? She said,
Okay, all
milk.
right.
I said, I'll get some Yoo-Hoos. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm
Maybe
down
I'll
for
bring some Yoo-Hoos next week. I
I
don't
like
know.
that.
We'll
I'm
see.
down for the chocolate milk.
Yeah.
We need some recommendations because I'm out.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, let us know. What drink should it be next week?
Yeah, we have to figure that out. But going back to the Packers, you're kind of you're in a good spot because y'all came in at the very end, so you're happy to make the playoffs.
Happy. It's supposed to be a rebuilding year.
Rebuilding year. Yeah, shouldn't even be in the playoffs, and here we are. So,
So you're
yeah,
playing with house money, so to
that's
speak.
it. It's
No pressure.
no pressure. Just go in there
All
and
the
play
pressure
ball.
is on number one Juan's Cowboys.
That's it. Yeah,
America's
that's
team.
it. But now that we're here,
Gotta do it.
the nerves, kind of nervous. But like I touched on it last week, Packers have never lost at Jerry World,
Okay.
AT&T Stadium, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And that's to include the Super Bowl that they won. When the stadium first opened up, they hosted the Super Bowl
Okay.
there. So the last Super Bowl the Packers won was in that stadium. So they haven't lost in that stadium at all. Cowboys, they like to choke in the playoffs. So, a couple things, in our favor.
Dak Prescott's legacy on the
Oh,
line.
gosh.
On
Here we
the
go.
line.
Here we go again with
The
that legacy
legacy's
stuff.
on the line.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was that from Stephen Anthony Smith or whatever?
Couldn't tell you. I don't
The
listen to
man that
that
no one knows his middle name.
Don't listen to that guy. So I don't know.
Stephen
A
A.
lot of spats going on.
Yeah.
Well,
The King was following, shout out, is following the spat between him and Mr. Whitlock.
okay.
I'm sure Pac's familiar with that.
Yeah, I am. No,
Why
I
is
can
it?
see him nodding
Why
his
is that?
head over there.
Is that because they're both black guys?
I'm pretty
Yeah,
much.
the-
Yeah, is that what you're trying to
Negative. I
say?
just saw you nod your head over there, Noah. And
Hey, we got to touch on that
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
You sent us something. in
Robert Griffin III,
Yeah.
former Heisman Trophy winner, now commentator, he did the heavy lifting for us.
We did. Had an interview with the family.
Robert Griffin is also of African American descent. I'm just gonna keep it rolling in
Keep
the
going.
community, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we don't cover
what
that?
happened? Yeah, cover it. Let's
Oh,
go.
no,
What's
I'm
his
talking
last
about-
name?
I'm talking about covering the spread. No, I am not going. That man will forever be known as Noah in the Turner home. I'm sure the deputies will bring that up whenever he starts playing college ball
That's right. On the video game.
That's
on the
it.
video game.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I have to announce his name
And
on
for
the
the
video
Mountaineers. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm interested to hear what Herb Street has to say.
Well, for
Go
those
ahead,
that didn't
Pat.
see it, RG3 interviewed the family and asked the pronunciation of the last name.
Yes. That is spelled Kenigga.
Yes, and he said, he being Noah, the kid with the last name, said Kanega.
Yeah.
No way. No, what word in the English language
It's
starts with a K
Scandinavian.
and an N, and the I sounds like an E? There's no way.
Yeah, that's exactly where that last name came from. Scandinavia.
What, you're looking, you're giving me a look, Blue. What?
Come on, Nate Doggy.
Like you said, the K before an N in every word.
That's right.
It's silent, but
That's right.
but I saw the funniest meme I saw was he
Easy,
plays
easy,
basketball
Nate.
too.
Yeah.
He plays basketball too, and I don't know which commentator wrote. He wrote this Kenigga. His last name can ball too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because
Yeah.
I mean,
So Kanega, if you want
There's
to,
a lot of.
believe it, but I guess if it's your name, you can pronounce it however you want
yeah,
to.
you
but
can say whatever you want. It's your name.
Yeah.
That's a rich family history.
yeah.
But I'm glad it was a very entertaining interview that RG3
Yes,
did.
it was.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm not
it
a
was.
big fan of RG3, but that was a good interview.
He did come up with a T-shirt idea. The listeners will have to
That he did.
look it up.
That he did. But
It's all a play on words, even with the naysayers.
So I'm not so much interested in the breakdown of the game last night, but the weather between the Kansas City Chiefs and and the Miami Dolphins.
A lot of scuba suits.
Blue, you were talking about that before we came on.
Well, yes.
About the difference. Go ahead.
I actually have Peacock, so I got to watch. I got to watch the game.
Man,
So.
just throw it in our face, Mr. Moneyman.
I didn't have it, but I hacked in. Thank you.
The game was not on regular TV. You had to have a Peacock subscription to watch it. Is what he's talking about.
Prescription.
I think when the game started, it was -4 degrees, and they were talking about the Dolphins when they left Miami. It was 86 degrees. So literally, you know, there's a 100-degree swing in temperatures between what they left in Miami and what they played. And I watched the first half. It looked just cold and miserable.
And the wind chill was even colder.
It was -27 or something with the wind chill. I don't know how you factor all that in. When it's just that cold, it's just cold.
So,
but
got a new stat guy here.
Yeah, if you were, this is for everybody here, if you were a third-string lineman, would your ankle all of a sudden be turned before the trip? Like you couldn't make the trip?
Well, they got it. I think they could just sit in front of the heaters and sit on those heated benches. So
yeah, they had the
they're
heated,
fine.
They had the heated benches set up, and you know they had all that, and the field itself is only 50 degrees. The places like that, I know the Chiefs, they actually have pipes under the ground that heat the field.
So it's more for the fans.
The fans are what really they let them bring in cardboard to sit on, you know, so your butt's not freezing. And
You can say it, Nate.
and they didn't even sell out. I mean, it was so cold. Tickets were like $30 or $40, and that's for a playoff game. So a lot of people who normally wouldn't get to go to a playoff game were able to go to that game. But it's just so cold. Even a place like Kansas City, the stadium wasn't full.
The softening of America, Sleezy. Come on, man. That is football weather.
I'd sound
And I'm
miserable.
only saying that because I
you're
am from New England.
above the Mason-Dixon line.
I am. I don't know what you were going to say there, but
The
the Dixon-Mason line.
Anyway,
I am now from below it.
What is
yes. Cold is cold. I do agree with Blue.
And y'all are from up north, and you're from the what do you call Oklahoma? The Midwest?
Yeah. It's between the Midwest, or some people still consider it the South.
It gets cold.
Midwest.
Everybody has
The
this
South.
debate. It's South-ish, Southwest-ish. It's not really. We're kind of in the middle of the country, so you can be right just about saying anywhere. But it gets cold there. But the temperature in Athens, Georgia, and Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, it's pretty similar.
So my point being, it gets cold there too.
Yes.
My question I was going to ask, because for our kids that may be listening, we did have to walk uphill both ways
That's all right.
to school while it was snowing, but
No shoes.
with no shoes. But did any of you ever have like an extremely cold sporting experience growing up? Especially because y'all grew up in colder climates than myself.
Not growing up, actually. For my 30th birthday, Doc Laladay got tickets to the Packers-Falcons game for us at Lambeau. And my birthday's in December, end of December.
For me.
So,
Put that on silent.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
so we went up there and it was freezing cold, and it started to, I guess, snow. Some kind of precipitation was coming down, and I had on, anyway, stupid shoes. I should have wore boots, and my feet were cold. So I was pretty miserable. Had a blast, but I was cold.
The knees were quivering.
Yeah, but playing, like as a youth, no, I never had anything like that. I played pretty much baseball, which was during like warmer months anyway.
I did too. I think my coldest experience actually been here in adult league softball. A couple of those nights, because we always played baseball in the summer, or spring by the time. Anyways.
I went to one Oklahoma game. I think it was the first one I took my dad to. I think we played Colorado or something. It was pretty cold, and I remember it because it was raining. So when it's cold and it's raining, that's kind of miserable. So that's the one I remember.
Yeah, the wet socks is a no bueno.
Yeah.
Shout out Juan. But my brother, future guest, Arthur, my older brother, bought Chicago Bulls Celtics tickets in the middle of a blizzard. The only way we could get to the game was the subway, clearly because it's underground, but I had started my first full year of being a Southern resident, and so going back inappropriately dressed, like Pack said, wet socks is a killer in the cold.
Yeah.
And that's a pet peeve of mine anyway, but yeah, we walked directly into the blizzard to get to what was the Fleet Center at the time, now TD Bank.
Well, at least they played indoors.
But I looked at my brother as we were walking in the game and said, this is why I'm not leaving the South.
That's right.
Yep. So you went ahead and married so you could stay down here.
Found the biggest brain and said, come on.
Yeah, you're kind of like one of those, foreigners that marries an American citizen so they can stay. You married a Southerner.
Me too, I guess.
Yeah.
And Blue?
Yeah.
Blue also.
Blue.
Yeah.
Blue did it.
You're the lone man out in this.
The Southern women were targeted.
Yeah, that's it.
Targeted for their geographic location.
For a lot of things.
Hey, pause.
There you go. And then the other, I guess, weather phenomenon in the NFL playoffs this weekend is they had to move the Bills. Who are they playing? The Steelers.
The Steelers.
Steelers game from today because of a snowstorm that came through.
Yeah, so I see a lot of people complaining about that and saying, let them play football. And I agree with that it's football weather. But as a first responder, I also know that they are probably like overwhelmed with work, and adding a football game on top of that is going to overwhelm like the city. You know what I mean? So it's...
And you're right on that. I saw a lot of stuff on, it's X now, but it'll always be Twitter.
Come on, Nate
people upset. It's not that they couldn't play the game. They could have shoveled it, and it would have been a interesting game, but all the fans getting to and from the game is the problem. We're talking feet and feet of snow, blizzard conditions, but there are some pretty interesting videos of Pittsburgh fans trying to make the drive up on Twitter. I mean, it's just one of those things. It just couldn't happen today, so it'll be tomorrow. Have a doubleheader.
Yeah.
There you go.
Not mad at it. An MLK Day doubleheader. That's
service. I thought the coolest thing I saw in there was the Bills Stadium was offering locals $20 an hour and free food to come help shovel out all the snow out of the stadium. I would do it just to say I did it.
Yeah, they do that at Lambeau too.
Yep.
See?
The sheriff, when he was a deputy, Big Pop's sheriff, we jumped on that.
Yeah. I'm just waiting on Arthur Blank to call us up there to Mercedes-Benz and
it.
shovel the heroin addicts out of the way.
Come dust the fentanyl off the seats for us.
That's what I'm waiting. They're so close to the ball.
Well, if the Bills do beat the Steelers, which they're heavily favored to do, the Chiefs should have to go to Buffalo next week. So we'll have a couple of chances to see some crazy snow games.
No, good point.
There you go. Are we going to cover the spread and the total and money line for old pack?
Go ahead. You got to pull it up, Stack.
Got it pulled up. We got
let us know.
Our friends at Disney, shout out, got it at 7.5. So we'll explain that again to the lovely listeners. That means that if the Cowboys are favored to win, and they have to win by 7.5 points, so essentially they're giving a touchdown plus to the Packers.
They got to win by 8 to win that bet.
Correct. And obviously Vegas knows.
What's the over-under?
The over-under is 51 in a hook, so 51.5. So that's the total score for the listeners. And then money line, if anybody hears money line, you're betting for that team to win, or some people call it win outright. So that has nothing to do with the points. That's the scoreboard, and only the scoreboard. It is plus 300 for the Packers, which I would 100% take the money line or the spread for the Pack.
Yeah.
Because like Nathaniel Blue just said, that's a lot of points, especially in the NFL playoffs. And then minus 380 for the Cowboys. So you're actually losing money.
Yeah.
On that terrible team that Nate Doggy doesn't like.
Well, that is a lot of points to give up, but let's not forget, just a few weeks ago, the Packers gave up 30 points to the Panthers.
Oh, here we go.
Well, I want them to win. I really do.
We had this conversation offline in confidence that this would get brought up on air.
The secondary.
Yes, the Packers gave up 30 points to the Panthers of Carolina.
That was at least in Charlotte, though, correct?
It was in Charlotte.
Not at Curly Lambeau's field.
The Panthers played 2 games after that, and they scored a grand total of 0 points in those 2 games after they played the Packers. So
There's a receiver for
They
the
got tired.
Cowboys, number 88. Is probably the best receiver in the league right now. He did go to Oklahoma, but you're going to probably see him in the end zone a lot today.
Is that CD Lamb?
C.D. Lamb.
I was going to say, it's not Des Bryant.
no,
It is
he did not
CD
catch
Lamb.
that ball, Des Bryant, back in the day, but that's a whole other conversation.
That was a
but-
terrible call.
No.
So just to explain,
That was
money
not a
line.
catch. That was not a catch.
We'll explain money line to the viewers. So obviously those odds are off of if you were to make a $100 bet, which I have not because it's illegal. But if you were to make a $100 bet on the Packers, then you would win that $300. So anything money line is off of 100 because why would you put anything less? Vegas probably wants to know why you put anything less on there.
Because I'm allowed to put $5 in.
If
So I
you
do.
were to talk to old Squeaky McSqueak over there, he will. But again, that's if you're teasing it or you're parlaying it, which is another conversation for another day.
Yeah,
And you can make $5 into a lot of money.
you can. So you mentioned the minister of K9.
The
He's a huge
minister.
Alabama fan. I think that's a good segue into
Yes.
a tumultuous world in the.
You could have also bet on that.
You could have.
Who
So-
he asked us to call him McSadness.
Oh yeah,
Just FYI.
I was going to tell you
That's
that.
a good segue.
So the reference to that is the evil empire of Alabama, the captain of the ship.
The Wicked Witch of the West.
Saban retired this past week and sent shockwaves through every corner of the universe. And in the same week, Bill Belichick.
Oh man, call me
Leave it.
McSadness.
And Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll
Directly
was at
because
Nikolai's
of the Did You
Road.
Hear Me
That was
podcast.
it.
We're
But Pete
killing them
Carroll,
all.
Pete Carroll, quote unquote, retiring was a direct hit job from the podcast.
Correct.
100%.
Once
Yeah.
PackMan exposed his dirty ways on the airwaves,
Couldn't
couldn't
coach
last.
anymore.
Nope, couldn't last. So, victim number 1 of the podcast, Pete Carroll, you're welcome. But
We probably had a hand in Nick Satan too.
probably so, maybe. But so anyways, those coaches are, whether you like them or hate them, they're legendary coaches, and them leaving the same time sent a lot of, have me asking one question, and I'll ask you, and y'all can expound, or,
You had it right. Expound upon it.
yeah, which one, alright, so they're both great, I'm not even arguing whether you like them or hate them, they both were
Don't
great
go
coaches.
here, Sleazy. Don't go here.
Which one do you think which one do you think was a harder job to accomplish? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good
Winning all
question.
the championships in college football or winning all the Super Bowls
Well,
that were won in the NFL?
That's easy answer.
Go ahead.
Bill Belichick did it with Tom Brady.
Yep.
Pretty much that all of it, his success was Tom Brady related. Not to say he didn't have a hand in that, but
Easy blue.
Nick Saban won with a lot of different quarterbacks, and I just think what Nick Saban did was more impressive. He did it with different players. I mean, it's like you had Michael Jordan, Phil Jackson. He did it after Michael Jordan too, but you have Tom Brady, so a lot of that is,
Okay. I kind of agree with your take,
I
but
like Nate
that's
Dogg.
one opinion. I don't think there's. I know the sheriff's probably about to give us an.
No,
Go ahead.
I'm with Nate Doggy fresh on this. It's not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmys and the Joes.
All right.
Yeah, I touched on it a few weeks ago. I think.
Pause.
You got me with
he
that
touched
one.
on it.
You caught me off guard with that one, but I agree. I think a lot of his success came because of Tom Brady, whereas Saban.
Now give Belichick his due. We're not trying to slight him at all because to win in the NFL, where they try to encourage parity, they try to make your schedule harder based off the records every year that you're quote unquote the best, and then salary cap issues and all that. But I also agree with the opinion that doing it, having to do it with a roster turnover every couple of
Yes.
years, to me, it is more impressive. But you can also make an argument that that's the best of the best. You got world-class competition in the NFL. And so winning as many Super Bowls as he did was also equally as hard. They're both great.
They are, and you're splitting hairs. I mean, they're both two of the greatest to ever do what they did. It's just,
I guess to be the contrarian,
Come
Which
on,
I'm not, but
Sleeves.
probably the argument against Saban would be he had all the advantages being at Alabama to get the best of the best.
Well, that's true, but he also did win the one at LSU,
Yeah.
and I haven't looked into his career, but I think he was fairly successful at Michigan State. He was pretty successful everywhere he went. He did have built-in advantages at Alabama, but let's not forget when he took that job, Alabama wasn't in the best of
Good
shape.
point there.
He turned that program around, and
He actually went 6-6 his first year.
he did. I think they lost the University of Louisiana Monroe that first year,
Correct.
and
Good point.
so they lost 2 games back to back, and he said that'll never happen again.
That's
So
why we brought Nathaniel Blue in for his
Yes.
hard hitting insight.
a lot of Alabama's success under Nick Saban was because of Nick Saban. They're still going to be Alabama, but going forward, they're not. Like next year, I don't think anybody thinks they're automatically going to be in the 12-team playoff. If Nick Saban was there next year, you would just go ahead and write them in for one of those 12-team spots.
Write him in, Nate Doggy.
Yep.
So, I mean, him leaving is a big deal, but a lot of Alabama's success is because of him. They've always been Alabama, but let's not forget they went through some dark years there as well.
Very good point. And, there's some fallout from Saban leaving. One of those being, Georgia's already gotten his,
That's huge.
one of his
Glad you
defensive
brought it up.
coaches, Travaris Robinson. Am I saying that right?
We'll have to check with you on that one. Travaris, I think it's I'm going to butcher that one too. Mr. Robinson, how about
so
that?
he got him to come from Alabama over to Georgia to be a co-defensive coordinator because all of a sudden, Muschamp needs to spend more time with family. Whatever code that is for, I don't know.
You were correct, Sleazy. They ended the regular season 6-6, and then beat Colorado in probably the Meineke Car Care Bowl or whatever, 30-24.
Well, I would say Nick Saban leaving is obviously bad news for Alabama fans. It's definitely good news for the rest of college football. You got to think of how many programs have missed out on a shot at playing for because Alabama was always in the way. I'm a little worried Georgia's not going to lose another football game for the next 20 years now that Nick Saban's not here.
Come on with it, Nate.
I mean, in the last 3 years, he's the only one to beat Georgia. So, I mean, college football is changing with the NIL and the unlimited transfer stuff. So it's all going to change. But, I mean, Georgia had a roadblock. Alabama, whether you like them or not, that was one of their biggest roadblocks. Without Nick Saban there, Georgia, it's wide open for them now. So we may be going to work in 6 national championship parades in a row because no one may ever beat them again, unfortunately.
It's a good problem to have.
I can hear the disdain in his voice.
I think this is a good time to ask you because I wanted to ask you. Nathaniel Blue is here in his Oklahoma hat, Oklahoma sweatshirt. Probably got an Oklahoma shirt underneath.
Oklahoma Underoos.
Hopefully there's a shirt underneath.
I do have the shirt on underneath.
Yeah,
you mentioned it, but
that's all you own.
I did throw the Oklahoma boxers on today.
Yes.
I do have 2 pairs, so.
2 pairs of underwear, my man.
2 pairs of Oklahoma underwear.
On at the same
Not
time,
at
Sleazy.
once.
Oh,
Not at
he's
once.
doubly protected.
He's obviously
big fan.
Oklahoma diehard. Go ahead and tell us, y'all are joining the SEC next year. Go ahead.
We are. We're joining with Texas next year. We'll be in the SEC. We're finishing up this year in the Big 12 and all the spring sports, but starting this summer, we will be in the SEC in all sports. And the football schedule is already out, and we probably have the hardest schedule in the history of schedules next year.
Florida may argue with you.
Well, theirs is pretty rough, but for a first year in the SEC, we got a pretty brutal schedule. We gotta go to LSU. We gotta go to Ole Miss. We gotta go to Auburn. We got Alabama, South Carolina, and Tennessee coming to Norman. We also go to Missouri, but Missouri is a cupcake to me.
Whoa, easy.
Missouri was in our conference for several years.
Nate Doggy.
We've beat them 75-80% of the time we've played them. I'm not worried about Missouri, but I'm very excited for it. Selfishly, my teams will be playing closer to where I live.
Yeah, good point.
I think it's exciting. I'm not a big fan of conference realignment overall. I don't like that USC and UCLA are now in the same conference as Rutgers.
Yeah.
And the Rutgers women's volleyball team are going to have to go to a Wednesday night game in California. It makes no sense. With Oklahoma and Texas coming to the SEC, all of the states in the SEC, we at least touch each other. It's not like you gotta, it's contiguous. All the states, all the states touch each other. So it's a good thing for us. And let's just be honest too. You can only get so excited to play Iowa State or Kansas State. I mean, those are, if you're an alum of one of those, it is what it is. But I'm much more excited about going to play, at Auburn. Oklahoma plays at Auburn next year. Hopefully I can drive 3 hours and go see that. Auburn's just, there's bigger names in the SEC. But, my frustration is a lot of fans, I'm obviously around Georgia fans here, they're like, oh, Oklahoma's coming, you and Texas, y'all are going to be right down there with Vanderbilt. Look, Oklahoma and Texas are coming right to the front in the SEC. I'm not saying we're going to have success right away, but the only program in the SEC with more prestige than Oklahoma is Alabama. I mean, Georgia's on their way up, but all time, I mean, we have more national championships. We're top 5 in winning percentage. We're going to be at the top of the league. We're not going to win the conference every year like we did for a long time in the Big 12, but let's not forget Missouri came over and they played in the SEC Championship in 2013 and 2014. This year, they nearly beat Georgia. Last year, even in Georgia's national championship year, I don't know if you remember, but it was a struggle for them to win that game in Columbia.
Well, do they stink or are they good, Nate? Because you just said they suck, and then you said they almost beat Georgia twice.
Well, no, what I'm saying is they don't suck, but they're not. They were never a juggernaut in the Big 12.
11-2.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. If they can come into the SEC and do that, we have way more resources.
I see what he did there.
We have
contiguous.
We have one of the most valuable brands in college sports.
I will agree that Oklahoma travels.
Well, we travel, and it's. But I'm excited because it's not just football. I mean, they'll only come here once every 6 years or whatever. But softball, I'll be able to go see OU softball, who may never lose another game, just like Georgia may never lose another football game. We may never lose another softball game, but I'm very excited for the move. I don't have to worry about moving back to Oklahoma now because my teams are coming to me.
There you go.
He's excited about it.
I don't know. One of the funnier, it wasn't even an argument, conversations that Nathaniel Blue and I had way back when was when I don't know, the SEC went through this. Still is happening, but it went through this phase where it was like, okay, our team's out of it, but the SEC's in it, and they start chanting SEC in games against other conferences. And Nathaniel Blue had some strong
feelings. Used to chant your ass, Nate.
Well, that's is just.
So my question is, are you gonna start chanting SEC now?
I will never chant SEC.
I can see his ass getting chapped right now.
I don't cheer for a conference as a whole. I never cheer.
Come on, Nate. You're from the South.
It's kind of funny because we played Kansas in basketball yesterday. We're ranked in the top 10. Kansas beat us. We haven't won there since 1993. I was really excited this might be the year. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but towards the end of the game, their fans started chanting SEC. And it happened to us at a couple of football games this year, too. When we started getting beat, when Oklahoma State was beating us, they started chanting SEC as more of a put-down for us leaving.
Yeah, the Kansas also got you.
But, it's one of those things. I'm not going to chant. I'm not going to cheer for the conference. I'm just not. And, the thing that really makes me mad about it is most of the time it's Mississippi State fans or Vanderbilt fans. You can't take credit for anything. You've never won anything. You never will. I mean, the SEC is, let's be honest. I mean, it's Florida, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, and
hadn't been
Auburn.
Florida lately, yeah.
Well, not lately, but, they have had some success.
You know the big names, yeah, I'll give you
that. But, everyone can't take credit for, let's not forget, Vanderbilt is in the SEC, and they will never win anything.
Cashing that check.
Beautiful baseball program, though.
Well,
I saw Coach Corbin in Gatlinburg at the Smoky Mountain Brewery. Shout out.
All right.
Recognized him from the back of his head, Nate Doggy. That's how much I love the Southeastern Conference.
No, I'm obviously, I live here now, so, I watch the games. I have the SEC network. I'm just, we're going to lose. This first year I think is going to be tough, but, we're not going to be 6-6. I think now that Nick Saban's gone, that game in November against Alabama at home, I'm not so worried about. So
that game's in Norman?
It's in Norman. So, we got Tennessee coming in. That's our first SEC game. We've played them a couple times recently. we beat them. A lot of people may not know this, but their coach was our quarterback that won the national championship in 2000. Josh Heupel. So I think we can win our home games. And then, like I said, we're going to drop a couple of those on the road. Ole Miss will be tough. LSU will be tough, but we'll be fine. College football is changing. I mean, you don't have to finish 1, 2, 3, or 4 anymore. You just got to finish in the top 12.
That's true.
And the fourth best team in the SEC is probably going to be good enough a lot of years to get in that that 14 playoff. So we're in a brave new world, fellas.
I think SEC is going to have the first three-loss national champion one day.
Yeah, I could see Nate Doggie's freshest team going. I would say 8-4 and 9-3 is that's a good start.
Yeah.
Like you said, in a new
I think we're on the same page, though. We're both excited about the bigger games that are going to happen for everybody's program.
I'm not hating on Oklahoma. I watched them play in the City of Sin, and they beat Texas. That was a sloppy game, but a very entertaining game. And then they really just threw a pile of dog turd out 2 weeks in a row, and then they were out of it.
So how do you?
I think they were strong, and then I think the Arizona game in the bowl was. Arizona's a very good team.
Yeah, well, Arizona is Arizona. That we had no business losing that game.
It was a little sloppy, Nate.
A little sloppy. We had like 5 turnovers.
I watched it.
So what do you think about these?
True freshman quarterback, though.
With the conference realignment, a lot like the Red River rivalry is no longer.
It was a shootout, but we don't want to promote violence.
That game is still going to be played. So.
It is?
Yeah, that game.
Hold on, which one is Oklahoma State you're not going to play?
Yeah, we're in Oklahoma State.
Bedlam
is not what's.
So what do you think about that? Because I think Georgia's losing. I don't know. Every team's losing like a traditional game.
Well, we could still play that game as out of conference, but of course Oklahoma State doesn't want to. I mean, the overall record between us and Oklahoma State, I think they've won 20 games out of 110 or something.
It's pretty one-sided.
They don't want to play that game, but some rivalries when the SEC expands are going to go away, but we'll still play Texas every year. That's our main rival and always has been.
I misspoke on that one. I tend to do that a lot.
No, you're all right, Slaves. The body armor's kicking in.
I'm happy not to play Oklahoma State because we hardly ever lose that game, but when we do,
yes,
it's like they beat us this year. Our last game we may ever play them, and that may be one of the worst things that's ever happened to me, and I literally think about it like 5 times a day, and it upsets me. And I don't know that I'll ever get over it. As I'm dying, my last thought will probably be, I cannot believe Oklahoma State beat us the last game we played.
Yeah, you'd have been in the, very likely, it would have certainly been in the Big 12 championship.
Well, and I mean, obviously.
And then you win that, it's probably you're in.
The problem, too, is I'm not one of these people that complain about a call going one way or another. A lot of Georgia fans in my family are like, oh, we got screwed in the SEC championship. Yeah, there were some bad calls, but there's bad calls. But I will say there were some horribly blatant pass interference calls in that Oklahoma State-Oklahoma game. One in the end zone that, I mean, he just pretty much tackled the guy, but it is what it is. You can't rewrite history, but that's rough.
Nate is saying it. The fix was in.
I don't think that. I'm not going to say the fix.
I like it. Come on.
I don't say the fix was in.
Get conspiratorial with the Nate Doggy.
Once Oklahoma and Texas announced they were leaving for the SEC, the amount of calls they got, it was very noticeable. But I'm not.
I like it.
I'm not one of those people that's going to blame the ref. Those people infuriate me. That if it wasn't for the refs, like the Georgia fan, Alabama only won because Alabama won because I don't know how they won. That was the worst Alabama team ever. Georgia should have beat them, but you can't blame the refs.
There we go.
The catch in question.
They got pushed around.
We know what happened with the catch that wasn't really a catch, but that was one play. You got to get up. You had a whole other half to come back. So I'm not a ref blamer. Those sports fans, they annoy me to no end. Because there's very few games that one call determines the whole game. I mean, there have been a few over the years, but usually if you're good enough, you can overcome that.
Agreed.
Man, Nate Doggy is bringing it. He's bringing it fresh. Yeah, I would agree. The refs can contribute to a loss, but there are still other things that you left out there. And I think we were pretty fair on our assessment of the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
The squad was a little banged up, sure, but they got pushed around, and so if you get pushed around in big boy football, then you're probably going to lose.
There you go. Well, I've got 2 listener questions related to college football since we're already knee deep in it, thanks to Nathaniel
I'm
Blue.
loving it.
So I'll go ahead and ask those. One of those is kind of down in the weeds. I'll probably direct it towards the sheriff. It's from
Come on.
Callie, aka Lil Hole. Too long of an explanation to come with that name, but
Let the code names reign supreme.
There you go. But she knows who she is. This goes in direct correlation to the coach moving over from Alabama that we were mentioning, Mr. Robinson.
Okay.
Caleb Downs was a big Georgia signee from Georgia. From Georgia.
From the state.
Yes, but his freshman year with Alabama did very well.
Yeah, he's
But he also
truth.
signed there because of Mr. Robinson. Do you think we'll see his name in the transfer portal headed to UGA anytime soon?
Our man Caleb Downs from Houston,
There you go.
Georgia. No.
You don't think so?
No, I think he's...
In this day and age when nobody has school
guess I need to
allegiances
give
like
you-
they used to.
I guess I need to give you an explanation.
You do.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the listeners may be talking about like a Don't Call Me AD, Adonai Mitchell, where maybe you win and then you go home after you win.
Right.
Just to further explain that, AD Mitchell was a very clutch receiver, maybe not our best here at Georgia, but then he's from the state of Texas, so transferred back. I kind of threw some shade at him, but he ended up getting it right, I guess, if you're talking about winning, because he was in a semifinal in the Sugar Bowl against Washington, and Georgia was not. I could see Downs coming home, but I think it's probably going to be 2 years at Alabama, so that would be through this season. Maybe see how Coach DeBoer is,
Because
and
he's
then
eligible to
maybe jump
transfer
on
this
the...
year, like right now. But
Yeah.
you don't think he will?
I think it's kind of the slave to the moment type thing we're talking about. I think it's very possible, thank you Nathaniel Blue for this segue, that Georgia could, I don't think they're going to win out, but they certainly are a playoff team on paper, and I hate that. But as long as they execute to the level of what they have on paper, they're going to be in the playoffs, and then anything can happen.
They have a brutal
So-
schedule next year, but you don't have to win them all. They got to
Correct.
play Clemson. They got to go to Texas,
To Alabama,
to Alabama. But now who knows?
to
How,
Ole Miss.
who knows how tough Alabama is going to be next year. Now
Sure.
the way it works is the transfer portal is closed, but when there's a coaching change, you have 30 days. So I mean, a lot of those players.
Thank you, Blue.
A lot of those players are going to leave Alabama just because they went there
They
to play
have
for and they are leaving. And I think the player you're talking about, I've read, he very well could end up at Georgia because a lot of those players, they go there to either play for Nick Saban or to a lesser extent position coaches. But you know, there's an aura around Nick Saban. A lot of players, I think I read no person who's went there and stayed for their 4 years since Nick Saban's been there have left without a national championship.
Except for this last
This
senior
was the
class.
first class.
Okay.
First
But
time.
you are correct.
So you know, a lot of them want to play for Nick Saban, and now that he's not there, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to transfer out. And look, I don't think they're going to fall off the map. But Kalen DeBoer did a good job at Washington, but you know, it would have been tough to take that job because you're following, you know.
The GOAT.
He is. I mean, I don't think there's any dispute. He's the greatest college football coach of all time. Now, when Kirby Smart runs off and wins 8 of the next 10 national championships, which
Ringing endorsement.
no,
Love it, Nate.
trust me,
Bring it.
I don't want it to happen. I'm not a fan of Georgia winning. Every time they do, it hurts me. But I'm also a
It's
realist.
going to make you some money.
No,
though.
I'm also
Your paycheck will be nice and fat.
I'm also a realist. I watch football, and especially college football. You can watch it and just tell that
Yes.
they have better players than everyone else. And you know, for a while, that's what Alabama had. But they're going to get hit hard by the transfer portal.
They have. They've lost 18 players.
But like I was talking about earlier, it's a new world with the name, image, the likeness, and just being able to leave whenever you want. With the 12-team playoff, everything's different now. So none of us really know what it's going to look like going forward. So we're all about to find out.
All right.
Yeah, I would say he's going to give the coach a chance. If Georgia wins to the level that we think they're going to win, then I could see him coming in as a junior, get 1 year, kind of like a lot of people did. I'll give the example in the pros of like a Randy Moss going to New England. Didn't work out for him. Well, they went undefeated and then lost in the Super Bowl. So I guess to some extent he did win. But I'm saying you're going to see a lot of guys, now that technically there's free agency within college, like Nathaniel Blue's mentioned a couple times, that you're going to see some guys come here to win, and then that Downs kid is gone as a junior. There's no way.
Yeah.
He's a first round
I'm
pick now.
I'm gonna say there's a good chance we see him in the next week or so. His name pop up. But in the next step to this college football question.
Next year, Sleezy.
Okay.
Write it down.
That's your answer. Writing it down is recorded for the history books. The next part of this college football is from CNN. I couldn't figure out how to make this question bigger, so I had to get my magnifying glass out. I'm too old. I don't know. It's on Instagram. I can't figure out how to make it bigger, but I was able to decipher. I was able to decipher that basically Alabama had Bear Bryant through greatness. He retires in the early '80s, and then they went through, as Nathaniel Blue has already pointed out, they went through the desert of several coaches, won national championship during that time. I think it was kind of a fluke. And then they basically went from like a 90% win rate down to winning just over half their games. And then Saban comes and resurrects the program. His question is, I'm telling you, it was tiny writing. His question is, do you think Alabama's headed back to famine, or they're just going to keep feasting? Basically, I'm paraphrasing.
Alabama had some decent years under Gene Stallings. I think that's the one. That's the Dabo Sweeney years now, where he was a walk-on to a national champion, which he'll tell you about ad nauseum. Go ahead, Blue. The mic's. You pick up the mic.
I don't think they're going to just totally fall off the map.
Agreed.
But their fans there expect so much, and that program is worth so much, and they're not going to put up with losing long. I mean, if they have bad seasons, they'll get a new coach. And you don't want to be the coach that follows the legend. You want to be the one that follows the coach that follows the legend. So
that was going to be my point.
They'll have a few down years, and then they'll bring in Lane Kiffin, and he'll,
he ain't going to do it.
He'll save the day. I don't know. I'm pretty impressed with what he's doing at Ole Miss, and he's very funny. I don't know.
Is he doing it, or he is the bottom line?
Well, he is probably one of the best follows on X or Twitter.
He's awesome.
I can't call it X because it sounds ridiculous, but
I don't know. My wife keeps telling me about his girlfriend too.
Yeah, he posts. This guy is just ridiculous. The stuff he posts is, it's not stuff you would expect a football coach of a major program to post. But he's very funny if you don't follow him. But I don't think I think they're going to have some down years. They're going to lose 3 games a couple seasons. I don't think they're going to be automatically successful, but I think eventually, they'll get back to where they may never be what they were under Nick Saban, but they're not going to let that program fall off the map. They're not going to turn into Nebraska. I'll say that.
They're not, but to your point, it's an impossible situation for a new coach. Like do you even think making the playoff is like going to be, just the playoff, 1 and out is going to be enough for them? That's going to be failure.
Their fans are absolutely silly, because if you watch that team and then they go to the Rose Bowl and lose in overtime, like I would have been running around, I would have been unclothed running around Winterville Station if Georgia had that type of team with a quarterback that can pretty much just throw the deep ball. There's no mystery to what you're doing, and somehow you end up losing one game to another team that is in the semifinal, the other one, and you're in the Rose Bowl and you take the national champion to overtime. Like, the fans that are upset with that, and there's a bunch of them, are delusional.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about fans. They did it with the quarterback who can't throw the ball too. So, I still don't know how they beat Georgia, but that's the thing. Even when Georgia lost the SEC championship, is it the first game they lost in how many ever?
29 games.
Yeah, 29 games. There were fans that were upset. Now, obviously, I think most of them had a lot of perspective, but that's the thing about fans, and you get spoiled when you win all the time.
Agreed.
I'm really upset right now. We won, I think, 10 or 12 Big 12 championships in a row in football, and we haven't played for one in like 4 years, and I believe the world is ending. And I mean, obviously it's not, but I expected to win every year. I have like a row of 10 hats from national or from Big 12 championships every single year, and I don't have one for the last 4 years, and that's not acceptable. And
You hear this, Coach Venables?
I'm already ready. I'm about done with him. I mean,
I was going to ask you.
Lost 2 bowl games in a row, and I mean,
I think this is a good parallel to what's going to happen with Alabama. You're expecting a certain level, and they're expecting a Saban level.
Yeah, but DeBoer has won everywhere. He's 100 and something and 12, so.
Well, he has a good resume.
That's true.
I think he is a smart hire.
I am not
on paper.
I don't have a read on this, and it feels like I'm in the twilight zone because I got to take a crap on Alabama turd fans for a half a day, and then the team that I've cheered for since birth loses their coach, and I would say that the New England Patriot situation is even worse because I think there's a high probability Belichick in the next week or so is going to be coaching another team. So and he needs 15 wins to beat Don Shula to be the winningest NFL coach. So I think that's a double down, salt in the wound, because now you got to watch him wear another team's clothes, coach another team, potentially win with another team.
Well, the last thing I'll say about the new coach at Alabama, if you can win at Washington and get to a national championship, you're going to have better players at Alabama.
Absolutely.
So if you can win at Washington, he can win at Alabama. But those fans there, like we were saying, they're insane. If they lose 3 games in a year, like they're going to have problems with that. It'll be interesting for the rest of us to see how it all plays out.
I think Clemson is a good parallel to see that it can be a flash in a pan. So Georgia fans, enjoy what Nate Doggy Dog is saying, because you're really spoiled right now, myself included, and this can disappear.
So this brought up a question in my mind for Pack down there.
Come on, Pack.
McCarthy, former coach.
Yeah, the
coaching
McCarthy
the Cowboys. Is there any NFL parallel to this? Because he won a Super Bowl, right? Didn't he?
Yeah, he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, what he
was in too.
At AT&T Stadium.
Okay, so I was just making sure I had the right
against the
history.
steel curtain.
So now he's coaching the Cowboys. Y'all fired him, right? Or he leave on his own?
We fired him.
Okay, so do you have any feelings about him coaching the Cowboys today?
No.
Do you like him?
Yeah, he won us a Super Bowl.
I like
and
Big
we've
Mike.
had a lot of success under him. Lots of going to the playoffs.
Yeah, he's got weird eyes.
He's got weird eyes. He's fat. I mean,
Is he fat or is he? Well, he seems like he's pretty stout. I'm not saying he's a heavy-set guy, but he's kind of he looks solid, broad, husky, burly.
I guess
I
don't know. I just thought of that while we're talking about coaches.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have no ill will towards him.
You're indifferent.
Yeah, indifferent. I don't want him
to beat him today.
I don't want him to win today.
Will you be happy if he wins? Like, will you be happy for him?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Yeah, I won't be happy for him.
All right.
If they had the ayahuasca enthusiast,
then
I think I would like their odds even more.
That
Jordan Love's played
deep end.
Oh, easy now.
Yeah, don't get me started.
You're gonna get
I won't get on a Rodgers range.
Mr. Pfizer.
I did not like him, but now that he's come up with some of these beauties, go ahead, stop me, Sleezy, before I get us canceled.
We got a lot of topics to cover. We had a very enthusiastic response to the episode, questions for the episode, so I'll make sure I get to them. But so we're going to transition here. Last week, one of our hot topics, I did not know it was going to be a hot topic, was everyone's take on doctor visits. Blue, I don't know, do you go to a yearly doctor visit?
I'm getting fairly old, so at this point I have to.
And we do as well. We had Ace on, who's a little younger, and he was aghast that we go to the doctor without being something wrong with us.
Once you pass that 40 mark, it's kind of you have to. It's not if you want to.
I received several comments on this. One random person on the talk said that I don't know. I have no idea who this person is.
Really?
Yeah, they said that their boyfriend's dad or somebody didn't go to the doctor for, I don't know, 2 decades, went, and then they had stage 4 cancer and died the next month or something. So we should go to the doctor. I don't know. It's weird.
Or should you not go to the doctor? Is that what killed him? He could have kept going.
Anyways, Doc Lilladay, I'll let you ask the question because Doc Lilladay wanted to know.
Oh yeah, she loved that segment too last week.
So she had a specific question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so her follow-up to that was, since we do go to the doctor, what is the most, if anything, embarrassing thing that you've had to ask or discuss like with your doctor?
Oh, that's easy. Anything to do with your genitals.
Yeah, I would agree. Nether regions.
I mean, it's been a while, but when I was a kid, I got poison ivy, and of course, I touched down there, and it was all swole up, and I had to show the female doctor. So
female
I
pediatrician.
think anytime you have to talk about genital region problems with, especially a doctor of the opposite sex, I think that's.
I'd rather do it that way, Betty.
Yeah, I think anytime you go below the belt, it's weird.
Was she hot?
I think I was 12. I don't remember.
Everybody was
Come
hot.
on, hey,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she was down there touching it. She was hot. It didn't matter.
Yeah, I got let me get some poison ivy down here,
But
because
yeah,
my pediatrician's so hot.
I don't think I have like a specific memory of like I had to go to the doctor and say, "Hey, doc, I don't."
Yeah. I mean, I think we've all had some issues down below at some point in our life. Anytime you got to go in there and they got to go down there and look, it's weird. Follow-up question you report back to us next episode for Doc Holiday. Is it weird when they tell you embarrassing stuff as a doctor?
Oh, good one. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
She gets it
Yeah.
a lot,
And she's supposed to be professional, but in her private life,
She gets it a lot.
not the case.
she gets all the questions. But in her private life, she's a person.
Right.
So does she feel weird about it?
Still like.
Does she feel weird having to get in those weird angles and get some light to see down in the nether regions?
Well,
Yeah, that's a good question.
Follow-up question,
I don't
Doc
know.
Holiday, if
Yeah.
you listen.
I think about every Christmas party I see her, I tell her I'm looking forward to the next strange bump on one of my areas, so I can just come to her house and show her and ask her what it is.
You don't have to wait for a bump. You can just come. You can just
We'll get that follow-up answer next week.
Got you.
I'm interested in that.
If he's got some poison coursing through,
Yeah.
go see Doc Holiday. Yeah, I would say the squat and cough
Yeah.
for all the athletes. Anytime
Yeah.
you had a physical, you were.
And not to get
Getting
too
checked
far
out.
in the weeds on that, was all that necessary when you're in the 10th grade?
Right,
Having stripped down and have some guy look at you naked?
Do y'all have
Naked.
yeah, no.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Like,
And
why
you
are we
know
doing
what?
this?
And it's, I obviously take my kids to the pediatrician, and
Right.
they have to get all this stuff that we experienced while we were kids, and it's like you could tell they think it's like weird too, because
Yeah.
they're like, all right, doc's like, all right, I gotta pull your britches down for just a second, and they look at me, and I'm like, it's okay, it's the doctor.
Right.
But it is. It's a
Yeah.
weird thing. Have y'all gotten into the prostate exam realm yet? I have not. I have not gotten to the age.
I think I'm the youngest on the panel here
Yeah.
today.
No, but
I
I
was
heard
not with Jet.
you can follow up with Doc Holiday as well. I heard that they don't have to do an intrusive exam anymore.
That's
on that.
correct.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if anybody out there still getting the hands-on, you don't have to.
The thumbs, if you're getting the thumbs.
PSA, you don't have to.
I think it's.
How do they do it?
I think it's laser.
I'll ask Doc Lala.
We,
Yeah,
probably
definitely
we probably should just have her on.
Yeah.
We got a lot of questions.
That's
Big,
right.
I can double down with Big Brain
Oh,
and ask
yeah,
her about the
yeah.
nether regions and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have
I don't want to steal Doc Holiday's thunder though.
All right, we're going to go ahead and have a medical episode coming up. We'll go ahead and get a lot of questions.
That's
We'll
it.
let you know, listeners, so you can send in all your medical questions. You're too
get free.
embarrassed.
Get free medical advice.
You're too embarrassed to ask your own doctor.
That's
You
right.
can-
Stand in front of the mirror while you listen to that next
yeah,
episode.
just don't send pictures in with your questions. okay?
Oh.
I don't want to see the lumps.
The lovely lady lumps.
Well, anyway,
I think that song's humps anyway, but
yeah. So,
pause.
yeah, moving on. We've got a lot of follow-up homework there with a medical episode coming up. This is from CNN's wife, Miss CNN.
All right.
Let's keep our heads professional,
Oh God.
because it's going to go down some weird alley, but it's a weird question. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. If you could have an unlimited liquid supply come out of your fingers, what
Yeah.
5 liquids would you pick? So
Come on,
basically,
Nate.
Oh, that's easy. First would be gas. Never have to pay for gas again. I mean, that's a
smart
liquid.
one. That's a smart one.
I'm a smart person. And then I guess
reminded yourself.
you could even take it a little further. Oil. I'll just fill barrels all day and
man.
sell it.
That's
And then
stole mine.
Jack Daniels, because I spend a lot of money at the liquor store, and then Diet Coke to mix with the Jack Daniels.
Right there.
And then I guess
Could've
you
had
have to
this
say
big.
water.
Water's a good one.
Yeah,
You got to do
so-
water. Yeah.
I shouldn't even answer this question. That was way above what I was thinking.
Yeah, we were gonna end up on a tangent.
I
I
was-
went back.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering if I was trying to think in terms of value also. I did oil, I did water, and then I was like, I don't know, can you melt, like, does it count to like melt gold down into liquid form and then have like liquid gold?
I think in the land of make-believe, you can do whatever you want.
True, yeah, we are talking about shooting liquids out of our 5 fingers.
Willy Wonka style over here.
So in that case, if I had time to research, I guess I would research, so oil, gold, water, and then I try to figure out the two most valuable things that could be in liquid form and pick those.
So we got this question: what 5 liquids, if unlimited supply could come out of your fingers, what would they be? I really feel dumb now because I was thinking like, you know, some cane sauce,
There you go.
some butter from the popcorn. Just sit there and butter the popcorn up.
Oh yeah, you would just.
That is
Yeah.
a damn good one right there.
Yeah, I was thinking some my favorite barbecue sauce. Like, I feel ridiculous right now. Y'all are coming up with $1
Chick-fil-A
trillion
ranch.
ideas, and here I am looking for condiments.
I thought you were gonna hit us with a little strawberry lube coming out of the pinky.
No, I was thinking how to make my food better.
Shout out to the Barnett Christmas party.
There you go. So I feel ridiculous. Sheriff, do you want to add anything to this?
I think all my ideas have been stolen. But we got some
So you were
preppers over here on my left and right.
So you were thinking the same thing. You were thinking how to make some money.
I would say that gasoline and oil is a good place to start.
God, man, I really failed.
But is it both hands or is it just one hand?
Just 5 fingers.
Okay. Well, I could do all 5 with Arnold Palmer coming out if we really get down to it. If I want to be selfish and not survive.
Yeah.
Because obviously this is some kind of apocalyptic situation where I got some special powers. Or maybe there's aliens at the Miami Mall. Shout out.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw that.
that's it. Yeah, whatever came of that?
Nothing's came of it. That's why you
like
can't believe it.
That's why, yeah.
They were shadows. There was nothing.
Oh, Nate. Oh, come on, Nate.
Yeah, so are you?
Uncle Sam told you what to believe.
Where are you in terms of conspiracy theory? Do you believe in any? Or obviously you don't believe in this one. You don't believe in any. You think that just the government is just
they
completely
got your best
honest
interest in
all
mind,
the
man.
time?
No, the government is not honest all the time.
Okay, then you're a conspiracy
No, but most conspiracies are so outlandish.
Did we land on the moon?
Yes, we landed on the moon.
The video that you saw with Neil Armstrong, we landed on the moon.
Bullcrap.
I believe so.
I don't believe it.
Nah.
I think we've been to the moon. I just don't think that's the time we landed on the moon.
You heard it, listeners. All his football takes, disregard them as well.
I didn't mean to shut you up. I was going to go back and forth with you.
No, I mean, it's just most conspiracy theories are baseless. I mean, I watched the video from Miami on Twitter. I mean, I have a lot of time to scroll Twitter when I walk my dog 2 times a day. So I saw that, but that was a shadow of some officers, and it looks like a fight. I mean, let's be honest. If there were aliens, all those kids there, one of them would have pulled out their cell phone. We would have something. I mean, it's not... If that's the best video you got, I mean, no.
Yeah, that's by design, Nate. All the phones they took. You don't think they can take your phone? An Apache helicopter lands, they could take you. I'm gonna give them my phone.
There's no aliens in Miami.
Okay.
All right.
Well, or are there no aliens altogether? Or just not in Miami?
I'm not willing to say that. I mean, the universe is such a vast place that to think we're the only...
It's very naive of us.
Very naive. I mean,
Yes.
there's probably something else out there, but hopefully they're not more advanced than us and don't come here and eat us. I mean, but if they are out there, they're light years and light years away. So I'm worried about whether my team is going to win enough games to make a bowl game next year. Not whether aliens are going to eat us.
Hey, Big Brain would be pleased with that answer because she says she is naive, which makes it even better. But she does say it is very naive to think we're the only ones.
Okay, I tend to agree.
We got a lot of agreement today.
Yeah, no.
Hey, I'm a like-minded man. I just hope
Man,
what we learned on that last question is while y'all are trillionaires, I hope y'all invite me over for condiments that I can squirt on everybody's food.
That's right.
So,
you got me for the butter popcorn, baby.
So we had another question from Booty Meat, Big Game James. He wanted to know about the best sports movie of all time, which I kind of gave y'all a heads up when I was thinking last night. I might have divided up by sport, but I guess I have to pick one. So anyways, y'all go ahead.
The one immediately popped in my mind was White Man Can't Jump.
That's a good movie.
If that's I mean, that
It is
counts
a
as a
sports
sports
movie.
movie.
It
I
is a
think,
sports
but
movie.
it's a
Segue.
that's one that I will stop. And I'm not a big movie guy. I think y'all know. I don't watch a ton of movies, but that's was always a good one.
That is good. So there's a lot of ways you can take this. The serious movies, and there's the ones that are geared towards kids. Rocky, I mean, you just have to kind of milk them all together or put them all together.
Milk 'em.
Those are good, but no matter, The Sandlot is a good one.
Oh, it's a good one.
I'll remember that,
Yep.
and obviously people are going to say Rudy and that kind of thing, but
Nah.
but here's the
Not a
thing:
fan.
there's only one sports movie that ever had an actual team named after them because the movie was so popular. Do any of you know what that one was? A professional franchise was named after this movie.
Was
The
it
Mighty Ducks.
The Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
You can't tell me. I mean, yeah, it's cheesy, but when you were a kid, when they got in that flying V formation,
Yep.
quack, quack,
Yeah.
quack, quack.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I mean,
You might have to further explain that to the younger listeners.
yeah,
Oh,
well,
yeah,
the
they
younger
don't know.
listeners
Ice hockey
go.
movie.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. It's ice hockey. I care nothing about ice hockey.
Oh,
It's
man.
just slightly above soccer on the things
Nate.
But the Ducks movies, those Mighty Ducks movies, I could watch those again, and that was I mean, those are pretty good. But you can't really go wrong. Rocky, White Men Can't Jump.
Segue, apparently Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks, the goalie, the fat goalie, is a meth head now.
Oh yeah, those pictures are all over the
Yeah.
internet, and I think he's in recovery now.
So he's not fat anymore?
No, he's not that
No,
anymore.
he's
He
methy.
lost a lot of weight. He's a strange looking guy though. He's almost as weird looking as Georgia's quarterback. That just
Extraterrestrial.
There we go.
You've been listening, Nate Doggy.
Well,
the extraterrestrial head.
it's not about listening. It's just I have eyes. You can see the guy is. I mean, he might be the greatest guy in the world, but he's
You
got
do
a
listen
weird
to
looking
Did You
head.
Hear Me, Nate?
I listen.
He's got 0 F's given though. Have you seen his new salsa water?
Yeah.
Shout out.
But-
I think he's we have it on good knowledge, or great knowledge, I should say, from the 7,000 babysitters, all of which are female. We did have one male babysitter. That's a good question.
Random
How many male
information.
babysitters out there? She had a class with the extraterrestrial head and
Okay.
said he is, how shall I say this? He has a lot of soul.
Oh.
But you never told
Some
us your
people-
favorite sports movie.
We're getting there. We're gonna get
Some
through this.
People might call him a white gangster, if you will, or a
Okay.
wangster.
Oh.
That was some similar terminology. She was
Okay.
very inclusive in her terminology, but she said he has a lot of soul. Or he's confused.
Go
ahead, Pat.
No,
Come on,
What's
Pat.
your favorite sports movie?
Go ahead,
No,
Sleezy.
no.
Are you going last?
No, I'll go ahead. For me, it's more of an adult movie, but like I'll stop for Field of Dreams anytime.
There you go.
But I'm a baseball guy.
Yeah, any
so-
Kevin Costner thing, I don't think you can go wrong.
Yeah, it's not so much Kevin Costner himself. It's just the movie, nostalgic and baseballish. So that's mine. But the ones y'all have mentioned, great movies. I would watch them. As a kid, Space Jam. Man, I made my Papa Sleezy and Mama Sleezy take me to see this.
Space
Not
Jam.
this made up
Yeah,
LeBron
sad.
makeover. That's lame.
Listen,
the Michael Jordan.
Listen, the
Space
new
Jam.
Space Jam with LeBron was not horrible. My kid loved it. It wasn't as good as the original, but
Thank you.
most things are not. But
LeBron ain't as good as the original.
There you go.
What's your movie?
that's very debatable.
Well, we don't have time. We ain't got time to get into that one.
That is
This
not
one.
debatable.
Yeah,
All
They
right.
can't even touch the damn guy anymore. There's no physicality. Anyway, America Soft, my favorite movie, because obviously Jess Biel. Y'all took some of mine, so I'm going Summer Catch.
Oh, okay. Because isn't that about the Red Sox?
It's about the Cape Cod Baseball League. This was a
hold
good
on.
story.
Summer Catch.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Okay. I'm
The
tracking.
guy Billy Brubaker is he was some
So-
big time star. Hold on, I'll tell you.
So this one brings you back.
I lived it.
That's what I'm saying.
Other
That's
than
why
his towel didn't get pulled in the movie, but mine did. Billy Brubaker was played by, that was the biggest guy in the film, other than Jess Biel, who is a beautiful young lady.
Yep.
Go ahead, Nate Doggy.
Nah, just like you said, a lot of it's what you watched as a kid
Yeah.
and what you remember. sports movies can be either good or bad. It just it depends. It's a little weird when they're based on reality. The people involved, and there's actors trying to play these people.
My pet peeve for sports movies is when they make a movie about a sport and they don't follow the rules, or like they're blatantly not even following the rules of the game in the movie, just to make the movie more like cinematic. I can't stand that.
We could transition into a little bit of the blind side on that one, but I don't think that's the rules of the game. That might be the rules of life.
That sounds like a little mental health going on.
Conservatorship instead of an adoption. And Matthew Lillard was the guy I was thinking of, because I know you don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I think he was Scream. I think he did Scooby-Doo. Okay. He was Shaggy. He ended up being the biggest name, I guess, other than Jess Biel. Freddie Prinze kind of flopped a little bit.
Just to shout out the classic city on a sports movie, A Little Trouble with the Curve.
That was filmed here?
A lot of it was.
Really?
Downtown, Timberlake, right? In Eastwood?
Oh, yeah.
Clint Eastwood.
Like extra duties.
The female lead was a tenderoni, too. I'm trying to think.
I think they shot outside the Globe. I remember that.
Good call there, Blue. That's correct, because they shut down the street. And so that was filmed right here in Athens, Georgia, or parts of it were.
Interesting.
Justin Timberlake, Clint Eastwood, John Goodman, Matthew Lillard was in there, my man. Scott Eastwood, son of, and then the female lead's a tenderoni redhead, which redheads are
a tenderoni redhead. All right.
I'm trying to think of. She's the daughter of Clint Eastwood in the movie. I don't.
Okay. Well,
I'll have to do some research on that.
There's a lot of good movies out there. There's a lot of them I'll stop for that are sports, but
Amy Adams.
Oh yeah, Amy Adams. Yeah, I hadn't heard that name in a while.
Tenderoni. And you got to be fantastic looking for this fellow soulless ginger to think that you're an attractive female ginger. Because it's either about a -10 or a 20 on a scale to 10 for me.
Wow. Shout out to all the gingers.
That's a lot of red hair, man. Yeah. If I were to have to make the knees quiver.
Okay. All right. Well, we're getting closer to kickoff time, so we'll go ahead and wind this down.
For the 12 goodbyes.
My daughter, oldest, Raytron, did have a question. She wanted to know if she was the best guest I've ever had on the show. And no, you're number 1A, because number 1B is your sister, Bolly. So y'all are definitely the two best that I've had on.
That's a very good answer.
That's the only answer. And if anybody wants to listen to me herd some cats around, oh my goodness, kind of went everywhere. We did a bonus episode yesterday with Raytron, Bolly, and her two cousins, my nieces.
Were you consulted on this, Pack? Because this was news to me.
No,
it's out there.
I saw it on YouTube.
Yeah, I saw. If you got some younger people in your household, they might enjoy it. But they were all over the place, and it was fun.
I enjoyed the bonus episodes. Me and my kids, enjoyed.
Anytime I get to spend time with them, it's fun. But we went all over the place, and anyway, there's some good parts. It was fun. But Nathaniel Blue, I appreciate you coming on, man. You did great.
No problem. Thank you. Anytime.
We're definitely gonna have you back, because
I like
when this transition happens. Yeah, you're Oklahoma's gonna be much closer to home, and can't wait for them to come to Athens.
Hopefully I'll be up for it. Hopefully things don't take a bad turn.
And they're 5-7, and they're right there.
One more
duking it out with Vanderbilt.
Yeah. As we do every week, we make our parade of goodbyes. One more little quick story for Nathaniel Blue, since he won't be on in a while, is he's the most passionate Oklahoma fan, as he's already demonstrated. When Lincoln Riley, their former coach, left kind of in the middle of the night to go down to University of Southern California, you talk about somebody who is livid. I think one of the comments you made, I'm going to put you on blast, was, I hope his family's not on the plane with him, because I want the plane to crash on the way to the University of Southern California.
Every day.
Here we go.
Every day I wake up and I want there to be a massive earthquake in Los Angeles. Now, I don't want innocent people to die, but I want him to be driving to work, and I want the freeway overpass that he's under to collapse and smash him. I have no love for that man. What he did to us, you don't leave Oklahoma for USC. That guy, I'm so glad they had so glad they lost so many games this year. I'm glad Tulane beat them last year. I hate that man.
Wishing death upon him.
I mean,
Speaking of delusional college football,
well,
fans,
no, that's what I said.
What's
It's not.
USC's record?
They lost 4 or 5 games, but you know, maybe that seems a little harsh, and obviously I'm half joking, but
Just
halfway.
Half of the
I
let's
mean-
let half of the freeway fall.
I
on
mean, that guy.
yeah. Well, Oklahoma, Nathaniel Blue.
they
we wish you,
they finished 8-5.
Yeah, they didn't have a great year, but we wish your team the best.
Could
and
be
I
the
am looking-
Sooners. Could
looking
be Boomer
forward-
Sooner.
I'm
8-5.
looking forward to watching them in the SEC. It's gonna be a good year. Pack, we're rooting for your team because I will also root against the Cowboys. I'm not a
Go
big fan
Pack,
of
go
them.
Pack, go.
Go Pack, go.
Hate
That's
the
it.
Cowboys.
I will, they're going to cover.
Although,
100% going to cover.
you know, if they win, I'll congratulate number one.
I could see it going a few ways. I mean, yeah, it could get out of hand. It could be like the Texans and Browns yesterday. I hope not for the man sitting over here to my right. But
I don't think it'll be close either way.
Okay,
Either
so
way,
you
I-
agree with Las Vegas.
I think we'll get killed and they'll score 50 points on us, or they will not score and we'll put up like 30.
I had this circled as the best game of the weekend, which
Well, let's
I
hope
don't
it
know
is.
I don't know if anybody watched the Chiefs and the Dolphins. It was technically close. I think to Nathaniel Blue's point, if you actually had eyeballs, it was never really close.
it wasn't. But you know, there's some more games coming up.
So-
Hopefully Baker can pull it through.
I'm
Big
about
Baker
to tiz
fan.
him.
Big
I'm about
Baker
to
fan.
sign off, Lee, because I'm about to tiz him out on you. Because everybody wants to say, "Oh, we gotta make college football more like the NFL, and at least the NFL plays it on the field." And I will raise my hand as I am a fan of settling it on the field. But we can't have all these blowouts and look at TCU and Georgia. Well, turn your TV on, and it can happen to any team.
That's right.
I've seen the Patriots in their heyday get blown out of Arrowhead Stadium to the point where everybody wanted Tom Brady to retire. That's how bad it was. So
That's right.
anything can happen. Blowouts are going to happen.
There
I'm
you
a
go.
fan of the close games, but it even happens in the no fun league.
That's right. Well, go Pack, go.
Go Pack,
Come
go.
on, Pat.
Thank you again, Mr. Blue, and we'll see y'all next week. Another sober week next week. Well, send us some drink of the week ideas.
Yeah,
that are-
please.
Chocolate milk.
yeah, or we'll be here with some yoo-hoo,
Yeah.
which is fine with me too.
right.
So, anyways, appreciate everybody listening. We'll holler at you
We
next
just
time.
got to shout out the Mr.
hold
Brady and our spelling bee participants.
Oh,
Who
sorry.
also want to be on the podcast. Sorry, just slipping that in at the end.
Got to get it
Yeah.
in there.
Young
yeah.
Brady and our eldest deputy, they were got tripped up on some vowels, both of them. But
Yeah, some
and I
easy
don't-
words. Some easy words. They got eliminated.
Sorry, Sleazy, I'm
No, that's
I'm
fine.
doing it to you again.
We
but-
need to make sure we get that in because I heard you had promised if you won a spot on the podcast.
Yeah, then Pack had a good idea, maybe a consolation prize for both.
Yeah.
But we'll have to discuss that with you, the brainchild.
We're all for it.
But
Family affair.
yeah, I'm very happy for young Brady and our eldest deputy sheriff that they were.
And shout out to Whit Davis. We got several listeners over there. So shout out to
Yeah,
the
shout
staff.
out Whit Davis.
Shout out to the
Elementary.
staff.
I will say the girl that did win the spelling bee, they weren't going to beat her. I mean, she.
Stud, yeah.
Yeah, she
The
was
final two were.
Yeah.
The ladies showed out. The
Yeah.
ladies were like the top 6,
A couple
but
of
the
fours.
top 2 was a couple studettes.
Yeah.
For
While,
sure.
while we're mentioning Whit Davis, the boys
Mention.
basketball team, they won their first game on Saturday.
Yep, shout out.
Oh man.
My little boy,
Whit
he had a
Davis.
rebound, so
Look at
There you
Very
go.
good.
He
Dennis
had-
Rodman.
he had
the
ace.
white
listen,
Dennis Rodman.
He had
I'm putting
he
my
had
mic down.
he had ace stats. So there you
There
go.
you
Very
go.
good.
All right.
All right. I think this is the final goodbye.
I think so.
See
Putting
you
the
next
mic
week.
down.
All right. Appreciate it.